Well, Canada's tanning industry has responded to this report by saying that it offers no new information, the report that is, on which to base its conclusions. Doug McNabb is president of the Joint Canadian Tanning Association and also Fabutan, one of Canada's largest tanning studio chains. Doug, good to have you with us. I mean, you heard the story. The WHO now says that tanning beds are a confirmed cancer risk in the same category as cigarettes, asbestos, and plutonium. What's your reaction?
Well, you should add mustard gas to that too. We think it's quite overblown. I mean, in that same category as salted fish and red wine. It's quite a broad range, and I think that speaks to the notion that we need to be discussing dosage. The Joint Canadian Tanning Association advocates moderate exposure. We look to maximize the benefits while minimizing the risks of too much or too little exposure. So I think we need to go back to a sensibility here and avoid sunburn and overexposure. But ultraviolet light is natural. It was intended biologically for us to be exposed to it with such things as vitamin D production. So again, I think that it's overblown. It's old information. There's nothing new in this research or this study. It's essentially just a meta-analysis of some old research, only citing 6 papers when there are over 20 papers written on this topic.
What is, from your point of view, what are the cancer risks associated with tanning beds, with artificial tanning? I mean, is there a danger in simply doing it too much as opposed to doing it too long?
Yeah, I certainly again, it goes back to this moderate behavior that we're talking about. The general consensus is that overexposure and sunburn are what the major risks are relative to cancer. Now, it's important to note in Canada, we actually don't have a rise in melanoma incidence since 1985 amongst females. And the BC Cancer Agency actually publishes graphs that show 20 to 44-year-old females are actually showing the most significant decline of all demographics. And coincidentally, that's the largest demographic of indoor tanners. Almost 70% of our tanners would fall in that 20 to 44-year-old female category.
And yet the lead researcher on this report says that the scientific evidence linking indoor tanning to skin cancer is overwhelming.
I mean, again, opinion and conjecture. The facts don't support that. Again, there are over 20 studies. There are studies. Actually, one of the researchers within that group of 4 wrote a paper a couple of years ago that said there's no association between sunbed use and melanoma risk. One of the interesting things is in this study, skin type 1 and 2s are included in this data. Indoor tanning salons in Canada, Joint Canadian Tanning Association members are informed and instructed to tell skin type 1 and 2s that they shouldn't be tanning. Skin type 1 and 2 are, redhead, blue-eyed, redhead, brown-eyed. We actually advise that they reduce their exposure significantly. If you were to take out skin type 1 and 2 out of the data that this study reported, you would find that there is no association between sunbed use and skin cancer.
Now, the federal government has brought in voluntary guidelines that suggest, limiting tanning to younger people, those sorts of things. But the evidence seems to show that many tanning studios simply aren't abiding by these guidelines. What is being done to ensure the safety of your patrons across the country?
Again, Joint Canadian Tanning Association members, of which we advocate that consumers make sure that the tanning salons that they are tanning at are members of the Joint Canadian Tanning Association, advocates that parents are involved in the decision. We think that parents are intelligent enough in Canada to help their children make decisions about exposure to UV light. Remember, sunlight tanning beds in the same category means that parents can't ban their kids from playing Little League or running around on the soccer field. And again, they should be involved in this decision. And that's what the JCTA sets out to do.
If there was a restriction on tanning beds for people under 18, how much of an impact would that have on your industry?
Very little. Our teenagers, so to speak, and we use that word from, it seems for a broad range of people. The people between 16 and 18 years old in the indoor tanning industry, I would say, make up no more than 1 to 2% of our entire customer base. So, again, an outright ban, which we think is a little bit ludicrous and sort of takes the power away from the parents, we think that that's a little bit overblown.
You must feel like you're under attack a little bit here. How do you plan to continue to fight this further?
You know, it's not even under attack. This is 15 to 20 years. The human evolution happened under UV light. We've got a snapshot of history, 15 to 20 years, where we've now told people to run indoors and abstain from sun exposure. As a result of that, we've got severe vitamin D deficiency in this country, as reported by Dr. Hanley here at the University of Calgary. We need to get back to something sensible. Human evolution, natural, the way our bodies were naturally designed was to be exposed to UV light. It's only in the last 100 years that we moved indoors. So I think we just need to get back to a sensible approach, teach Canadians to expose themselves moderately and not to sunburn.
All right, Doug, good to have you with us today for some reaction to this story.
Thanks for taking the time.
Doug McNabb, president of the Joint Canadian Tanning Association here in Calgary. Now stick around. The CEO of Methanex will be here to tell us what shareholders can expect. That is up next.
This Money Talk Minute is brought to you